they're obviously teaching this, what is called an Arian heresy. Like back in the Council of Nicaea, Arius was arguing that Jesus is a lesser God. He's not God in the same sense that the Father is. He's not of one substance. So that's what Jehovah's Witnesses teach. They teach that Jesus is a lesser God. They have a different Bible, basically. John 1:1, it doesn't say in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It says in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. So they teach that Jesus is a God, and he's a lesser God than the Father, Jehovah.
And what's up with them substituting God's name out with Jehovah everywhere in Scripture? What's up with that?
Because so for importance, and I could give them credit for this. I actually like that they do this. That they really revere the name Jehovah. They revere God's personal name. God does say that this is my everlasting name. This will always be my name. His name is Yahweh or Jehovah, however you want to pronounce it, right? And so where the Jews in their scriptures, they didn't want to use the name in vain and translate it, so they translated it as Lord, when really it's Yahweh, it's Jehovah, right? And so that's why they're really big on that. But they put they make it this conspiracy, like, see, Christianity's trying to hide the name of Jehovah. No, bro, it's just these different translations and the historical context behind it. The big deal is when they manipulate the text to say that Jesus isn't Jehovah. Whoa. So they'll put Jehovah where Jehovah isn't used, because in that verse it'll be being applied to Jesus. For example, there's a verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Bro, this verse is underrated when it comes to the deity of Christ. It talks about how Jesus was that rock who followed Israel in the wilderness, who sustained them, the rock of Israel. Now, obviously, in the Old Testament in Deuteronomy, it says that Jehovah, Yahweh, is the rock of Israel. Yeah. So they replace that. They'll say, no, it's just the Lord, is just Jesus. They don't call him Jehovah. They don't identify him as Jehovah. But then it gets worse. When you continue to read 1 Corinthians 10, and you get down, it says, let us not put Christ to the test, as some of them did in the wilderness and were destroyed by serpents. That happened in the wilderness in Numbers when they tested God and griped against Moses, and then God sent serpents to destroy them. And it says that's Jehovah. Jehovah is the one that they tested against. So we have a clear verse that points to Jesus being Jehovah, and that's a verse that they will manipulate and change. Whoa. So all the verses that point to the deity of Christ and him being Jehovah, him being Yahweh, they manipulate.